Hey everyone, this is Angie at Stampin' with Amore. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications each time I upload a new video. I am headed for a new goal, and I was going to wait till 50,000 subscribers, but I am going to change it to 30, and I'm going to do another giveaway at 30, and I'm getting close. So I hope you subscribe and hit that bell for notifications each time I upload a new video. So today I am sharing this box here. I've seen this before. I actually saw this on Pinterest, and it didn't have a video and it didn't have instructions, but it did have a template. And there was not measurements on it, so I don't know what size it was. It just showed the template, and I looked to see if I could find the directions, but I couldn't find it, and because I don't know what you call this box, but it's super adorable. And there is a bit to this, but even if you're a new box maker, you can make this because the instructions are really pretty clear. So I hope you enjoy it. We're changing it up, and we are going on the fly today. So I'm just changing up the colors in the designer series paper, because this is a pretty elegant one, so I would say this would be more for an adult gift. Like I would fill this with Lindt truffles or some really nice chocolates, because that's what it looks like to me. But we're going to do one more that's a little bit more whimsical this time. And for this one, I used Brightly Gleaming Designer Series paper. It is a specialty paper. It has the foil on it, and this has the copper foil. And it's super pretty. This one is actually a returning favorite in our new holiday mini. Look at that. That is so pretty. This is going to make a really cute New Year's box. The little stars. I hope you can see that, because I know there does come a glare when it is specialty and it has the foils on it. But it's so pretty. So that's what I used for this one right here. And then I used our Very Vanilla with the gold trim ribbon on this. And then the color is the Pretty Peacock that I used on this. And the reason I'm changing it too is because the Pretty Peacock is a dark color, and it's hard to see on a video when I score, and you really need to see the scoring for this. All right, so let's get started with it. We are going to do this one in Granny Apple Green, and I don't know if I cut this yet. I think I did. So it's 10 3/4. I sure did, and by 7 3/4. So 10 3/4 by 7 3/4 for this piece, and this is our box part. I'm using some scrap Real Red and some scrap Granny Apple Green, because I don't know what I'm going to do for the tag. I know what stamp set I'm using, but I don't know how I'm going to place it on there. And then we are going to use some of the sheer ribbon, and this is gorgeous ribbon. I love this. And the colors are the Granny Apple Green and Real Red, and the designer series paper I'm using for this is, you're going to probably know, the Heartwarming Hugs, which is this, and it's my favorite. This suite is absolutely gorgeous, and I've been talking about it a lot. And so this is the suite in the Stampin' Up! Mini catalog. This is on page 9 of the catalog. If you don't have a demonstrator and you'd like a catalog, just contact me on my blog. There's a section, or you can message me on Facebook on Stamping with Amore. But this whole thing comes as a bundle, and I'm using the stamp set Wrapped in Christmas, which is this one, and I'm going to use Let the Joy of the Season Fill Your Heart. That's the sentiment I chose for this one. And I am going to be using the So Sentimental dies, and they're not called So Sentimental, they are called Stitch So Sweetly, but it coordinates with the So Sentimental stamp set. So it's these dies here, and I'm using the Stitch Scallop dies. And I may use the one that goes on here. We're going to work through that when we get there. All right, and I think that's all that we're using for this one. But isn't this adorable? This is a whole suite. You can purchase the whole suite, or you can purchase them as a bundle. But it's a great one. So I talk a lot about it, so I thought I'd finally show it. Let's go ahead and get scoring on this. Okay, so let's go ahead and score on the 10 3/4 inch side at 3/4, 1 3/4, 3 1/4, 4 1/4, 5 3/4, 6 3/4, 8 1/4, and 9 1/4. Then we're going to turn it, and we're going to score it on the 7 3/4 at 1 1/2, 3, and 5 3/4. Now these are my own measurements. If you've seen it done differently, it's because I just looked at the template that was shown, and this is the measurements I decided to do it at. I don't know what size it was or whatever, so just a disclaimer there in case this is a different size, but it's okay. It's nice to have other sizes, right? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is make sure you have the two shorter sections here, and this is longer on this side. This is going to be the bottom. So let's go ahead and just cut up the bottom pieces. I'm just going to leave those. I'm not really going to cut into them. You can cut into like every other one if you want. I just found it was easier to just leave them straight so I could line them up on the bottom, because this box is 8-sided and it makes it easier just to line it up, be able to line it up. All right, I am cutting this narrow one off here because this is going to be our glue tab here. And we're gonna, this side has two smaller ones and this one has one large one. You're gonna cut the two smaller ones on this side off. And then we are going to cut up each one of these to the score mark. And then we are going to cut some of them off, but I'll show you that in just a minute. All right, so all of the narrower ones we are going to cut off. So I'm going to just fold these down, the bigger ones here, so I can get to the little ones easier. So these three we are going to cut off. So just cut them straight across. All right, so now it's going to look like this. This is the top of our box. Now you do have to hand score this. So I'm going to use my ruler. And the best way I found is you don't have to measure every one of them at 1/2 inch because the center is 1/2. You can mark it, each one here, at the 1/2 inch mark, just with your little scoring tool. And you're just marking the narrower ones, not the wider ones. And then you're going to just score from that mark to the corner of this square. So I hope that you can see what I'm doing here. It's making a upside down V. Can you see that? And we're going to do that on all these narrow ones. And then we'll do it on this one. So we're going to do it to 4 different ones. Oh, I'm getting off there. And then one more. All right, so that's all of our scoring now. So you have all the V's. Can you see that on there? All these right here, 4. And then we're going to sharpen these. So I just kind of fold in on them. I usually do these first because it's easier then to score the rest or sharpen the rest of them. So this is going to make the little inside part right here. All right, so we have all that ready to go. We're going to go ahead and sharpen the rest of these. Okay, so everything is all ready to go. Make sure you sharpen them really well because it's going to help in doing your box. All right, so I'm going to use some tear and tape, and we are going to put this box together. Wow, that's the last of my tear and tape. Let me grab my new one here. And we're going to, I'll go ahead and put another one. This is a pretty wide piece. Although I know one piece would definitely hold it. Let me grab my little piercing tool here and we'll remove the backing. This is a great little gift box. And you're just going to meet this to this side. Make sure these are lined up. And then we are going to be doing the bottom part first. Now, this can be a little bit tricky, but what I like to do, I start with 2 of the large ones, and because you want to keep your box the right shape. So I'll start with these 2, and I'm just going to use some wet glue so I can move these a little bit if I need to. So we're going to start with this one. And then we're going to do these other 2 large ones. Try to keep your octagon shape here. And if you keep these straight, you're going to do pretty good. And then I'm just going to put adhesive on all of these, and then we're going to line these up. And try to keep them all in line. And then we're going to do these 2. So you have a nice shape on the bottom. You can even use a circle, one of your layering circles, and put it on the bottom if you don't like to see that. That's what I'll probably do later on it, if I give it as a gift. And then this is our top. You're going to kind of squish in the little sides where you scored. And then these are going to fold over like that. So you have your box like that. All right, let's go ahead and mat these. Okay, so to mat this, you need 4 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. Then you need 4 pieces that are 3/4 by 2 1/2. And you need 4 pieces for the top part, which are 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. So that's all you need to mat this. So let's go ahead and mat it. I'm going to just use my wet glue since I already have it out. Okay, so now we have them all matted. Isn't that cute? I like this color. All right, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to use a regular hole punch here, and I'm just going to punch 1 hole. I'm going to punch it right in the center, and then I'm going to just I'm going to fold these in, and I am going to mark these. You can also use your little tool and just go straight through to the center and then punch. I did that on one of the ones that I made, so we're going to just go ahead and punch this. It's best if you have them pretty close. You want them all to line up pretty well. Oh, did that one the wrong way. They don't have to be perfect, but I try to get them as close as possible. All right, and our last one here. All right, so we have it all punched. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a long enough piece that I'm going to be able to tie a knot in the bottom. Actually, I was going to use the smaller hole punch, because I found that I had to tape the inside. If you use a smaller hole punch, you won't have to tape the inside to hold it down. So I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. My hands are really sticky now from doing that. I'm going to tie a knot in the bottom here. And then I am going to cut the ribbon. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of regular Scotch tape. And we are going to put this through our first hole here. If you have a little tip, it's easier to get these through. Although I did punch the larger hole, So what you want to do here on this side, because the knot will go through if you don't tape it. So I'm just taping that down so that it won't pull through. But if you use a smaller hole punch, you won't have to tape it down. It'll hold on its own. Then we're going to just start putting these through each one. So you want to go through each one. Here. My hands are so sticky. It's making it difficult. That's the only thing about using the multi-purpose glue. It gets all over my hands. All right, and then I am going to just tie a knot in here. Make sure they're all lined up nice. And then tie your knot, and then you can tie a bow. Oh, I'm surprised I got my bow out because my hands are so... And really, I so advise using a smaller hole punch. I learned from my last box that I did, but then when I come to do the video, I totally forgot about it. So there's your box. So let's go ahead and decorate it really quickly. I'm going to use my Whisper White. I am using my Stamparatus for this one, and I'm going to tell you why. I showed this trick earlier in a separate video because I had this light bulb moment about using my stamps this way with my Stampin' Up markers. So I'm going to put this on here. All right, so I'm going to pick this up with my Stamparatus. And I'm using my Stampin' Up markers. I'm using the Granny Apple Green and I'm using the Real Red. So I want this two different colors. So I'm going to use the brush end and I'm going to do the Joy in red. If you didn't see the tutorial I showed on this, I'll link it here in the video. But it's a really good tip for using your Stampin' Up markers and for coloring your sentiments different colors. And then we're going to use the Granny Apple Green for the rest of it. And I'm going to do this a couple times. Okay, so look how pretty that is. Now if you just did that by hand and like the old-fashioned way where you would color it, huff on it, and then stamp it, you wouldn't get such a bright and bold stamping. All right, so we are going to bring in the Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss machine, and we're going to run this through. And I think that I'm using the smaller one for this. And I haven't decided whether I want to use, I'm going to cut this a little bit smaller. See if I can fit both of these on here, and then we'll decide. This one or this one. So let's go ahead and run those through. And if you're using it, the Stampin' Embossing cut, don't do it like I do on this graph paper. Do it on a solid surface because it has the little feet on it. I've talked about it before, but I want to remind everybody because you see me using it on here because it slides a little bit on here, but it doesn't slide at all on like your mat or on a solid surface. All right, I had the same problem with the Big Shot. So, all right, so I'm not sure if I want to do it this way or I want to do it this way. So this is going to go on the front here. So I don't know, what do y'all think? I think I'm going to use some dimensionals on here. I'm going to use the Switch Stitch So Sweetly, these two scalloped on here. So I'm going to pop this one up. And then I'm going to just use some of my Stampin' Seal Plus on the back here so it stays. It's very sticky. And then we're going to put this one on the front like that. Super cute. I love these boxes. They really turned out, I was really surprised that I got it to work out. So they're really cute. I hope you enjoyed it, everyone. If you need any supplies, you can shop on my blog at stampingwithamore.com. If you use the hostess code, I'll put you in a drawing. At the end of the month, I give away hostess dollars. All right, everyone. I hope you have a blessed day. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.